Hey guys, I'm T and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we make trendy and fun crochet tutorials twice a week. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to join in on the fun. In today's tutorial, we're making a side cinch tank top. This versatile make can be worn as an airy casual tank or cinch the sides to gain a flirty cropped curve hem. A make for any mood. Speaking of, by now y'all already know the drill, but just in case you're new, no matter your mood, modern crochet tutorials and patterns for you are here with even more dropping twice weekly, so tell a friend and consider clicking the bell to subscribe and you'll never miss an upload. Also, do me a huge favor and give this video a big thumbs up if you like it or 2 thumbs down if you don't. Either way, it's a great way to show support so I can keep putting out free tutorials every Wednesday and Sunday. Now it's time to get on the show, so without further ado. For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used a total of 130 grams of yarn. That's 290 yards if you're stateside. As for tools, a 5.5mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order, and enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us your favorite movie series. Mine would have to be between the MCU and Rush Hour. Details for the giveaway down below. We're using 4 stitches for this project, and they'll be as follows. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. This tutorial is made for a size small. You can adjust this for your size and explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this top started, we're all going to grab our category 4 yarn and make a slip knot. Then we're all going to grab our 5.5mm hook and start off by making an odd number chain that starts 1 inch underneath our underarm down to our waist. Now I need just about 7 inches or 18 centimeters, so I'm going to start by making a chain 35. Now that we have our chain, we're all going to do our first row, which is going to be a mesh stitch row. So block off that last chain and do a chain 1. Now that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, that's our turning chain. Then into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're all going to insert, starting with 1 single crochet. So insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Right after that 1 single crochet, we're going to chain 1, skip a chain, and into the next, insert with a single crochet. Now so far we should have 3 stitches for this row. From here we're going to continue to chain 1, skip a stitch, and into the next, insert with a single crochet until we all have 2 chains left. So we've made our way down with our row 1, leaving the last 2 chains. Now we're going to do our following stitch in our stitch sequence, which is a chain, because we all should have just completed a single crochet. We're going to skip that following stitch, which is the second to last. Then into that last stitch, we're all going to do an increase, which is going to be a single, also into that last chain, a half double, then also into that last chain with a double crochet. Now we are completed with our row 1, and we should all have 2 more stitches than chains that we made. Now we're only going to be increasing at the end of every odd number row, so for our row 2, we're going to do our next row in our row sequence, which is another mesh stitch row. So all we're going to do is chain 1, that's our turning chain, and flip our work. Then all we're going to do is find the last stitch from our previous row, insert with a single crochet. Then from here, continue to chain 1, skip a stitch, single crochet into the next until we reach the end of the row. Now just as a really quick tip, when it comes to doing our mesh stitches, every chain space should be worked on top of our previous row's chain space. As you guys can see, that's what we have right here. So we're going to skip that following stitch, which is that chain space. Then into the next, which is a single crochet, we're going to single crochet into there. So it's always going to be a single crochet on top of a single crochet and a chain space on top of a chain space until we reach the end of the row. So we are back. We have just completed our second row. Now we're going to do the third row in our row sequence, which is a single crochet row. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and flip our work. Then simply put 1 single crochet into every stitch and chain space. So just into the last stitch from our previous row with a single, next stitch, which is our chain space, with a single, and just continue on with this until we all have 1 stitch left. So we are back. We are nearly finished with the first 3 rows. We have single crocheted all the way down, leaving that last stitch. Now, like I said, we're going to increase at the end of every odd number row. So the increase is going to be the same as the end of our row 1. So just into that last available stitch, insert with a single, with a half double, and with a double crochet. And now our first 3 rows are completed. From here, it is going to continue to be 2 moss stitch, 1 single crochet row for the rest of the body portion. Now, as a really quick tip, since our row sequence is in odd numbers, sometimes our single crochet rows is going to end along the top, or sometimes it's going to end along the bottom. Now, I'm just going to do the following 3 rows with you just to make sure that we have every possible row sequence down, and then I'll let you do the rest on your own. So to get started on a row 4, which is a mesh stitch row, we're all going to chain 1 and flip our work. Now, since this is a even numbered row, remember we're not doing any increases or decreases into the even number rows for this portion. We're just going to find that last stitch from our previous row, insert with a single, chain 1, skip a stitch, single crochet. And we're going to continue on with our mesh stitch all the way down. So our first 4 rows are now completed. The following row in our row sequence is going to be another mesh stitch row. So chain 1, flip our work. We're going to do the same mesh stitch that we've been doing this entire time, making our way all the way up, leaving the last 2 stitches. We made our way down with our row 5, leaving the last 2 stitches. Now we're going to close the row off with an increase since this is an odd number row. So chain 1, we're going to skip that following stitch, which should be the second to last stitch, into the last, insert with a single, half double, and double. And now our row 5 is complete. Now, after we do 2 mesh stitch rows, our following row is going to be a single crochet row, and since it is an even numbered row, we're not going to do any increases or decreases. So chain 1, flip our work, and put 1 single crochet into every stitch. So we are back. We have just completed the first 6 rows for our underarm portion. Now from here, all we're going to do is continue to repeat our 6 previous rows until we now have an underarm portion that can reach from mid-underarm over to the front of our body, so roughly where a bra strap or a tank top strap would lay. Then I'll meet everyone back right after a single crochet row that ends along the bottom. So we are back and my underarm portion is completed. Now I have a total of 12 rows. This width is just about 3 inches or 8 centimeters, and the increase height is just about 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Now from here, we're going to do the neckline portion. So we all should have ended along the bottom. So what we're going to do, the same for everyone, no matter what size we're making, is our following row in our row sequence, which is another mesh stitch row. And we're simply going to make our way all the way up until we have 4 stitches left. So we are back and we have made our way up with our mesh stitch row, and we should all have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left at the end of the row. Now from here, all we're going to do is just chain 1, flip our work, and then do our following row all the way back down. Now we're doing these types of decreases when it comes to doing the neckline portion because we want this to be as clean as possible. It is going to give us some slightly jagged edges, but we're going to clean that up once the entirety of the piece is done. So now that everyone has 4 stitches left, we're going to chain 1 to get started on the following row, and that's going to be another mesh stitch row. So flip your work and simply make your way down with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the next to reach the end of the row. So we are back and the first 2 rows for our neckline is completed. Now the following rows for this portion of the neckline is going to be similar to how we did the first 2 rows, but instead of leaving 4 stitches, now we're just going to leave 2. And we're going to still keep up with our 3 row sequence, which is 2 mesh stitch rows, 1 single crochet row. So since we just did 2 mesh stitch rows, our following row is going to be a single crochet row. So since we're along the bottom, chain 1, flip our work, put 1 single crochet into every stitch, leaving 2 stitches. So we are back. Our third neckline row is completed. We just did our single crochet row, leaving the last 2 stitches. Now from here, we're going to do the following row, which is another mesh stitch row. So simply chain 1, flip our work, mesh stitch all the way down. Then just continue to do our 3 row sequence, making sure that when we work our way up towards the top, we're leaving the last 2 stitches. Then just work your way back down towards the bottom for the next even number row. Now we're going to continue to repeat these rows until we have a neckline portion where the top edge becomes the depth of the neckline that we would like for it to be. Then I'll meet everyone back right after a single crochet row that ends along the bottom. Then I'll meet everyone back so that we can do the middle rows together. So we are back. We have just completed the depth of our neckline. Now I have a total of 24 rows. This width is just 6 inches or 15 centimeters. Now from here, we're going to do the width of our neckline portion. So what we're going to do is the following row in our row sequence, which should be a mesh stitch row. So it will start off the same way as our previous rows. Since we're along the bottom, we're going to chain 1, flip our work, Then we're going to do our mesh stitch all the way up, leaving the last 2 stitches, chain 1, flip our work, mesh stitch back down, then do our following single crochet row back up. Then I'll meet you back when we have those 3 middle rows completed. So we are back. We have just completed the first 3 neckline rows. That's for the width. Now, like I said, it was 2 mesh stitch rows and a single crochet row. None of those rows had any increases or decreases, and now all we're going to do is continue to repeat these 3 rows until we have a portion that can reach across our chest over to the other side of the base of our neck. Now this portion, like I said, no increases, no decreases, so I will meet everyone back right after we complete our second mesh stitch row that ends along the top, because then we can work straight into the rest of the neckline together from there. Alrighty, so we are back. We have just completed the middle portion of our neckline, which was our 2 mesh, 1 single crochet row, no increases, no decreases. Now from here, we all should have ended along the top right after our second mesh stitch row, and we're going to mirror all of these little ridges that we have on this side. So what we're all going to do from here is chain 2. Now that chain 2 is going to count as these 2 stitches that we skipped once when we got started on the middle portion of our neckline. Then we're going to block off that last chain and do a chain 1, and we're going to do our following single crochet row. So go ahead and flip our work. Now from here, into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, insert with a single crochet, then make our way all the way down with 1 single crochet into every stitch. We have just completed our first increase row. Now from here, since we're along the bottom, we're going to mesh stitch all the way back up. Now we are back. We have just completed our first 2 rows for the increase side. Now from here, we're just basically going to repeat everything we just did, but still maintaining the row sequence that we've been doing this entire time. So since we just completed our first mesh stitch row, our following row is going to be a mesh stitch row, but we're going to start the following row with a chain 2 because of these chain 2s that we skipped when we were doing the decrease side. So go ahead and chain 2. Once we have that chain 2, we're going to block off that last chain and do a chain 1. Now that chain 1 is going to count as our turning chain, and we're going to flip our work. And since we're getting started with a mesh stitch row, insert your hook into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, with a single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and single crochet to reach the end of the row. Then our following row should be a single crochet row for everyone, so at the end of the row, chain 1, flip our work, 1 single crochet into every stitch. So we are back, and our first 4 rows for the increase side of our neckline is now complete. Like I said, we're going to be repeating our previous rows until we have the same amount of rows that we have for this side of our neckline. So just as a refresher, we're going to maintain our same 3-row repeat, and at the end of every odd number row, we're going to chain 2, flip our work, do the following row. Then work our way back up, then continue to do that until we have the same amount of rows. Once we do, I'll meet everyone back so that we can do the chain 4 along the top, because remember, we skipped a total of 4 stitches first before we got started on our neckline. Then we can do the decrease for our underarm together from there. So we are back. The increase portion of our neckline is complete. Now the total width that I have is just about 11 inches or 28 centimeters. Now we're going to do our underarm portion together. So right after that last row, we all should have ended along the top. So to match the amount of stitches that we have on this side, since we first started by skipping a total of 4 stitches, right after that last row, we're going to make a chain 4. So now we're all going to get started on our following row. So block off that last chain and chain 1. So our following row in our row sequence is going to be a single crochet row. What we're going to do is into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, insert with a single crochet, then make our way all the way down with 1 single crochet into every stitch and chain. So we are back, and our first underarm row is complete. Now, at the end of every odd number row, we're going to do a decrease, similarly to how we did an increase at the end of every odd number row for the first underarm portion. So we're going to do the following row in a row sequence, which should be a mesh stitch row. Make your way all the way up, leaving the last 4 stitches. Then I'll meet you back. We've made our way up with our second underarm row. We should have all left the last 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Now what we're going to do is chain 1, skip a stitch, then into the last 3, a decrease of 3 double crochets. So insert your hook into that third to last stitch, pull through, next, pull through, next, pull through for a total of 5 loops on our hook, then yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2. Now our first 2 rows for the underarm portion is complete. Now, like I said, we're not going to be doing any increases or decreases into the even number row, so chain 1, flip our work, and make our way down with our following mesh stitch row. Then just do our decrease together once more. At the end of that row, we're going to chain 1, flip our work. That row should be a single crochet row, so put 1 single crochet into every stitch, leaving the last 3 stitches. So we are back. We have just completed our mesh stitch row and have also made our way up with our single crochet row, leaving the last 3 stitches. Now we're just going to do our decrease together once more. We're all going to start with a yarn over, insert your hook into that following stitch, which should be the 3rd to last, pull through, into that 2nd to last, pull through, and into that last, pull through, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2. Then from here, we're just going to continue to repeat our same 3-row repeat, making sure that we decrease at the end of every odd number row for the same amount of rows that we have for our first underarm portion. Once we have that, I will meet everyone back. So we are back. We have just completed the entirety of our front panel. Now my total width is just about 14 inches or 36 centimeters, and now from here, we're going to get started on the back panel. So the back panel is going to be done pretty much the same way that we did the front panel, minus all the increases and decreases, so it's going to be super duper simple. I actually already have mine completed, so I'm just going to be talking you guys through it. So for the back panel, what we're going to want to do is start by making the same chain that we made for the front panel. For me, that was a chain 35. Then all we're going to do is do our 2 mesh stitch, 1 single crochet row, row repeat, for the same amount of rows that we have for the entirety of our front panel. Like I said, the back isn't going to have any increases or decreases, so super simple. Once we have that completed, I'll meet everyone back so we can seam it all together. So we are back. Our front and back panel are completed. Now from here, we're going to seam everything together. So go ahead and place our front panel on top of our back panel. Then we're going to insert our hook into the bottom corner stitch of both the front and the back. Now go ahead and pull our yarn through and do a chain up of 1 to secure. Now we're going to do a single crochet seam. So finding that first stitch into the front panel, insert, first stitch into the back panel, insert, and single crochet. Again, next stitch into the front, next stitch into the back, and single crochet, and that's it. We're just going to continue doing this till we don't have any more stitches left to work into. When we don't, do a chain up of 1 and cut. Then repeat on the other side. So we are back, and now that everything is all seamed up, we're going to do the straps. So first things first, we're going to try on our piece. Then we're going to insert our stitch markers into whatever stitch we'd like for the strap to fit into within the back. Now I inserted my stitch marker into the 16th side row from our side seam in towards the back on both sides. Then from here, we can get started on one of our straps. So what we're going to do is first make sure the work is flipped right side out, right side up. Then we're going to insert our hook into our stitch marker stitch. Then we're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, and do a chain up of 1 to secure. Then from here, simply put 1 single crochet into every side row until you reach our side seam. So just to do this together, finding our first side row, which is our stitch marker side row, insert with 1 single crochet. Next, making sure that we're working towards our side seam, finding our next side row, this is mine right here, insert with a single crochet. And again, this is my following side row, insert with a single crochet, and continue this until we reach our side seam. Now once we have single crocheted across the top of our back panel, we're now going to work up the edge of our front panel, which what we're going to do here is we're going to alternate between 1 to 2 single crochets into every side row, starting with 2. So this is my first side row. I'm just going to insert my hook in through that top loop, starting with 2 single crochets. So there's 1 into that same top loop with a second. This is my next side row, so find that top loop and insert into there with 1 single crochet. Again. So this is my next side row, insert into that top loop with 2 single crochets. Then into our next side row, find that top loop and insert with 1, and that's it. We're going to continue doing this until we reach our top corner stitch, and then I'll meet you back. Alright, so we are back. We have just completed our single crochets, making our way all the way up until we reach the top corner stitch. Now from here, we're going to make a chain that can reach up and over our shoulder and reach our stitch marker stitch within the back. Now I went ahead and already measured mine out. I need roughly 10 inches or 25 centimeters, so I went ahead and made a chain 40, then we're going to connect it into that chain space that we made when we got started on this row. So we're going to start by making sure that our chain isn't twisted. Then into that chain space, we're going to insert, yarn over, and pull through everything on our hook. Then we're going to do a chain up of 1 and cut. Now that we have one of our straps completed, we're going to repeat on the other side, then I'll meet you back. So we are back. Both of our straps are completed. Now we're about to tidy up our front panel and also sturdy up our straps. So we're going to make sure that our work is flipped right side out, right side up. Insert our hook into any one of the side rows that we have along the top of our back panel. Then we're going to start with 1 single crochet into every side row. Then once we reach our chain, 1 single crochet into every chain. Then once we reach the front panel, I'll meet everyone back to show you how we're going to be working into those stitches. So we are back and we have just made our way across our back and up and over 1 chain with our single crochets. Now from here, we're going to work down our front panel and complete the single crochet row. So all we're going to do when it comes to working down the edge of our front panel, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every stitch. So we should all have a total of 4 stitches to work into once we've worked our way down our chain. So just finding that first available stitch, insert with 1 single crochet. Like I said, we should all have 4 no matter what size we're making. So here's my second, here's my third, and here is my fourth. Now we should all meet this little ledge that we have right here. So what we're going to do is actually just skip over that ledge. We're not going to be working into any of those side rows, and just finding that first stitch on top of that ledge, we're going to insert with a single crochet. And now there should be 2 single crochets here. So into that following stitch, insert with a single crochet. Let's do this again. So we're not going to be working into any of those side rows. So just find that next available stitch, insert with 1 single. Then we should have 2. So into that next stitch, insert with a single. Then from here, we're just going to continue with 1 single crochet into every stitch, making our way down. Once we reach the middle of our neckline, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every side row. Then working our way back up our neckline, same idea as this side, just 1 single crochet into every stitch. We will not be working into any of the side rows. Then just make your way all the way up and around, back over it, then slip stitch into that chain space that we made when we got started on this row. Then do a chain up of 1 and cut. So we are back. We have just completed single crocheting along our neckline and our straps. Everything is all cleaned up. Now what we're going to do is just cinch up the sides together, but if you want to leave it just a simple tank, that is very cute and completely doable as well. You're done. But for those of us that want to have that option to cinch up the sides, what we're going to do is make a chain that can weave up and into the sides of our pieces. So I'm going to start by making a chain of 150. That's just about 30 inches or 77 centimeters. Then from here, all we're going to do is weave our chain into the side rows that we have on either side of our side seam, just making our way all the way up and then all the way back down. Then I'll meet everyone back. So now that we have woven in our chain up our underarm and back down, now to cinch it, all we're going to do is just hang on to the tail ends, then just pinch the body portion, and we're just going to pull. Then we can tie our piece together. Now you can make this as high or as low as you want, completely adjustable, but go ahead and repeat this on the other side. All right, so we are back. Now that our sides are all weaved in, we are all done. Now the last thing we have to do is simply weave in all of our ends. And there you have it, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Join us on Instagram, Pinterest, or Twitter. Those links are down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Catch y'all the next one. Bye!